Hey bushcrafters, welcome back. Well, I got a good one for you today. This one's a shelter building, and unfortunately, this was actually attempted last weekend, and I was actually attempting to go out for the whole weekend with absolutely nothing, and then build a shelter, sleep in it, and all that good stuff. But wound up falling ill toward the end of the day. Luckily I got the shelter built, and I got just some good footage for shelter building, and it was a pretty nifty little shelter, especially works for around here. Not waterproof or anything like that, because just finding materials around here to make a good waterproof shelter is quite the challenge, needless to say, especially if you ever look at the trees around here and the foliage on it. Good luck with that. But anyway, this is highly edited just to get you the footage for the shelter, because there really wasn't much of anything else in the video salvageable. But here you go. Here's the shelter I built with the intention to sleep in. Enjoy. I think I may have found a suitable place here for shelter. Right here is a good place to build a fire. I got these big rocks to kind of break the wind, so that way, with the way the wind's blowing, I don't want my fire to spread, which there's not a whole lot out here to deal with. But right back up in here would be a great place to put a lean-to, so that way I can use this as a resting area. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into camp right on the side of this hill, so that way I have a good view of everything out here. And yeah, the rocks ought to warm up nicely in the sun. Good fire break. We'll give that a whirl and see what we come up with. So I'm going to go get some wood, start building shelter. Alright, so this is where I was telling you about, where it comes in handy if you don't have a hatchet or anything like that, and use your knife. Actually use the thing. So I'm going to show you. Find yourself a good chunk of wood for a baton, and then we're going to start working this thing here with that knife. So what you do is you get your knife where you want it. This is a lot less work than trying to saw it or even chop it down with an axe, as far as I'm concerned. So just take that and just smack it real good. And I'm going to take it in nice little slices all the way around the direction I want it to drop. This is batoning your knife. This is also why you should carry a backup knife. Don't get too attached to your tools, because if you're in a situation like this, you only got the one knife, and this is what you're doing with it, well, it's either do that or die. There, I've pretty much taken that branch, that tree down with it. There we go. It's down. Alright, so far I've drug up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 5 juniper branches and 2 mesquite branches. So I'm going to start building shelter out of that and see with what I wind up with. So here's the basic idea for the shelter. Slide right up in here. I got these sticks coming up with a cross piece in the front, and then these boughs go back down here, and I'll anchor those with heavy rocks, both on both sides here. So that gives me my basic framework. Basic framework for the shelter here. Get around to the other side. There we go. So right down in that hole there, I'm going to take more boughs and run them across over that cross piece. So I'm going to actually start whipping this stuff together to get the first bit of frame, and then just start laying boughs over it. I don't have any particular kind of
pattern of whipping that I like to do regularly. I just want to take this stuff and wrap it and tie it off so it's good and secure. So I'll usually use an over-under kind of thing when I do these. Something to keep it together. Just tie a simple overhand knot. That's good and stout. Same thing on the other side. Now the more I get on here, the more structurally sound this will be. So this is just a good start to keep it up so I can continue on. So now I'm going to continue on. I had to go drag up some more boughs. Around here people call it cedar. Really? And truthfully, it's actually juniper. The good thing about building shelter out of this stuff is bugs don't like it. But I'm still going to treat it for bugs when I get done. Okay, I got a basic framework here of what I like. It's coming together nicely. See, now what I'll do is I'll lie down in there, put my feet back over here in this corner because this is going to be the longer direction here. My head down here, probably have a small fire right about here. That'll hopefully keep it warm. So yeah, I think that's probably a good start right there. So what I'm going to do is basically the same thing as I did on these down here on the ends. I'm going to take each one of these and I'm just going to kind of whip them over and under all the way, all of these, so that way these are pretty stable. And then I'm going to come back in and finish the framework, and this time I'll lay some across this way. So what I'll do after that is go cut a whole bunch of these little ones and start piling them on. Alright, so basically this is the shelter. It's not much. It'll do for tonight. It doesn't look like it's going to rain. See, there's underneath. Just juniper just laid over. Some of it's whipped down, some of it's not. But yeah, looks like I'll probably have to put my head back there because this actually really rolls downhill pretty well. So there's some thorny stuff here. I broke most of it off and put it right there as kind of a guard just in case. There, you can see here, it's over, under, and crossed. Same thing right there, 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 and there. Now really there's nothing out here that is going to allow me to waterproof this. All the leaves in West Texas are tiny that grow wild. So this is not waterproof by any means. In fact, if you look down in there, as I move the camera around, you can see through it. So this is going to be insulative and wind blocking only. So there's my shelter from a distance. So that shelter, for what I'm going to do with it, is done tonight, for tonight. It does not look like it's going to rain, so that's a good thing. So now I'm out of water. I got to do something about that. So I'm going to go look for water. The best way to do that, head downhill.
So there's the shelter I built. There was more left to do. I had planned on going back there after I went and got a little water or whatnot. But the main thing I was planning on doing when I got back to it was to cut some more juniper boughs and lay those down in there on the rock to make it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more insulation. That specific shelter, I can't tell you the name of it or the type of it. To me, it's kind of irrelevant. The skill is what matters, not the name. So really and truthfully, it all comes with practice. It won't matter the name to you. But anyway, that won't keep the rain off. but it'll keep me insulated, it'll keep the wind off of me, and it gives me a little bit of a sense of security while I'm out there if I was truly in a survival situation. Now that being said, I'm not going to recommend everybody just go out there and sleep in makeshift shelters every time you go out camping. It's not the point of that. The point is to learn how to do that just in case you need it in an emergency situation. Now we'll recommend you sleep in one once or twice just to get the feel for it, so that way you know what to expect if you ever do wind up in the situation that you have to build one. If you're going to be out hiking, whether it's for a day or just an afternoon, take some kind of shelter with you, like a small backpacker's tent or a hammock at the very least. Man, you'll be thankful for that. You'll get a better night's sleep, because those kinds of shelters, man, they are uncomfortable. There's crap crawling around on the ground. Around here we got, all kinds of rattlesnakes, scorpions, every ant in the world, and every one of them bite, and it sucks. I will tell you right now, if I have a choice to sleep in anything else, I'm sleeping in something else. I'm not going to sleep in one of those shelters. I don't like it, but I learned how to do it just in case. So carry a shelter on you, even if you only plan on being out for an afternoon. Safety comes first. Always be prepared. But in bushcrafting, that's what you learn. Preparedness. That's it. So, go build yourself some shelters. Get you some good practice in. If you have any questions on this particular video, PM me, throw a comment on the video, whatever. I'm here to answer any kind of questions that you might come up with for this particular subject. Until then, you guys go get dirty, get some blisters from your shelter making, have fun doing it, but be safe. And I'll catch you guys later.